Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rusty Rhodes again. This video, I'm just gonna kind of cover a general idea of what the server list actually means for maybe some new people that are like literally just learning the game. And then at the end, I'll kind of go back over each one again and give maybe my personal like own opinion on them. But we'll just get started here. The first one you have is official, which is like the Rust developers are the ones that run these servers. So they're not going to be really altered in any way. It's going to be the way the game is supposed to be. Kind of think of like Grand Theft Auto, but then adding mods to it. This is going to be like straight what we would call vanilla. So it's not going to be anything altered, no mods, nothing. Really, the only thing on these servers that is changed, or I guess you would call limited, is like your team size. So you can play as a solo, duo, trio, quad, and then usually just no limit, which means there's no team limit at all. So that's pretty much what I'll cover for official. Besides that, these are going to be really high populated for the most part. So I'll kind of give my opinion on what that means later. But that's pretty much it for official. So community, these are going to be hosted by anyone that just really is running a server. Teams maybe that play on a server and they're hosting it. I'm not really sure what the admins of these guys do. They're just server owners, which is the same as modded. These are like not developers of Rust. They're external server owners, and there's some pretty really good ones. So community is basically going to be like your official server, besides the difference in the server owner. Usually most of these are like half upkeep, which means like your base, what materials it requires to stay up for 24 hours is going to be halved. Those are the most community servers that I play on. Some of these probably have some decent mods in them, but I don't really play any of those. I just play basically a vanilla with a half upkeep, and that's the only servers I really play on for community. And then modded's where you're going to range from 2 times gathering rate compared to vanilla, and that's the only difference, all the way to a million X, 1000X. I mean, there's so many different mods out there that you'll just kind of have to play this server. If you're getting into modded, I would just suggest, if you're really brand new, get into a official or community instead of modded and kind of learn what the game's supposed to be. So that way, if you want to go to modded, you can kind of play with it more. The only thing I would suggest for modded would be down here in the search servers, you can type in build or PvP, which is going to be a very heavily modded server, which is going to just be to practice building, where you can save your builds, and you can also go to a PvP server and just work with guns and shooting people. That's where I use most of the modded, or a 2x vanilla is what I would go for in this area. I'm kind of getting into my opinion now, but that's pretty much modded. They just range. You got to try the server and go from there. Now down here at the bottom, you have wipe schedule. So if you're new to this and you don't even know what that means, that basically means the entire game resets and everyone's game is gone. Pretty much like that. It's like buying the game all over again. Kind of doesn't make sense, but when you play the game, it makes sense. Or if you play like Ark or any other game, it totally makes sense. But weekly would mean server maps wipe is weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly. So this I'll kind of start giving my own little opinion on these. Weekly is going to be like 3-4 days and you're pretty much done for the weeklies, unless you're playing a really high pop official. Your bi-weeklies you're going to play for maybe a week, depending on how your team's doing or how just the pop is doing and the server feels. Usually it's about a week, maybe a couple days longer. And your monthlies, these can really range depending on what team size you're playing in, what your goal is for the wipe, if you're trying to do like a certain objective for the whole wipe. So monthly is just kind of open. But usually by the third week, most of these are pretty dead except for officials, because there's quite a few big teams that'll play on there, which I'll kind of give my opinion on in a second. So that's just kind of a quick overview for that. And then we will go back to official. So my opinion on official is they're really high popped. which means there's gonna be a lot of people. Uh, so just kind of be prepared for that. There's gonna be a lot of big clans, teams on these kind of servers that play the server from day one to the end. Like village styles, there's a bunch of weird people together. I've been in those and it's a great time. Um, but that's what just you'll see. It's just a serious, crazy, awesome, good time. Um, I started on an official when I first started playing. I had no idea what I was doing. It was chaos. It's a slow learning process, but it's definitely something I would suggest with friends for the official servers. So for your community, this is where you're gonna see um, a little bit lower pop for most of them. But usually these servers I don't really play many of, to be honest, because there's just very few that even make sense. Um, but I would just pay attention to pop. Um, so like the downside on high pop is there's just people everywhere, and without a team, you're not going to progress. Honestly, very far learning, especially like at the beginning, you're going to struggle. On community, if you play a really really low pop, sometimes you'll get teams on there that just play a low pop for whatever reason. They've been playing for a long time, and they'll just pretty much raid every base that's there, and there's only going to be like 3 bases, and one will be yours and one will be theirs. So you just kind of get raided over and over and over. Um, but that's how low pop kind of works sometimes. So people always suggest low pop for learning, but I don't necessarily, because you're gonna get used to like not seeing people, and then you're just gonna get slaughtered because you're not gonna get any PvP skill really. Modded, I really prefer the 2x vanilla. I think that's a great time. Um, 2x vanilla, I would say, is a really good way to learn if you're struggling too much with official, or you don't have like a team. 2x vanilla is really good. Just be careful with some of these servers. They'll have like kits that you basically buy with real money, so people will just have loot everywhere and it gets ridiculous. And some of them you have to join and do like slash kits to even see. They don't even announce it. So you could start there and play for a whole day and then realize everyone else has already got everything because they just bought it. That's my opinion on modded. Official modded, pretty much my main. There's a couple community servers that feel like official. They just have half upkeep, so you can do a little bit more with the building and have a little more fun with that. But not going too crazy. But besides that, I think that's really it. If there's anything you guys haven't covered, or I didn't cover, you guys ain't talking here at this point. I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna end it here. But if there's anything else you guys have a question on, just let me know in the comments. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate the support if you're watching my videos, and I will see you later.